Throughout history, in spite of best intentions, governments have become tools for oppression. Eventually, some faction rewires the rules to their own advantage to such a degree that no opposition can overcome their rule. One must assume that this is a natural occurrence, just as fish tend to swim and day tends to give way to night. A free people must recognize this and act accordingly. Humans have learned that, in some cases, security measures are necessary to prevent humans from acting on their own worst urges. One can cautiously conclude that benign security measures like a locked door or cryptography do not, in most cases, infringe on the rights of free people. Contrast these necessary types of security measures with moral-based restrictions, and a clear line appears to illuminate the stark difference between them. On one hand, you have restrictions based on an assumption that one activity, which is itself not suppressing freedom, will eventually suppress freedom in some way later. On the other hand, you have a well-defined line that, if crossed, deserves a corrective action. An additional factor is that governments are not efficient at solving social issues. The creation of laws that restrict freedoms along ill-defined moral lines are ineffective, expensive, and impossible to enforce judiciously. History shows that restrictive laws are generally used to demoralize and control a population. We must emphasize the former point that even with the best intentions, restrictive controls are expensive to enforce and susceptible to the whims of a controlling faction. As we recognize these truths, it becomes clear that a reconfiguring of authority is necessary. Free people do not need a government of restrictive laws to sway their morality. Free people only need a government to protect the population from bad actors and dispense justice when there is a failure in the system. Contrary to the current fear-based system of what-ifs and gotchas, our legal and justice system must operate on what has actually and observably occurred. The fear-based system only provides cover to the ill-intentioned as a means of control. It is not difficult to imagine that a constitution of free people, at its very core, is a framework of equality. Placing any further attributes on it dilutes its potency. The solution is an incorruptible town square where helpful, honest work is rewarded and nefarious actions naturally discouraged. A self-erecting and auto-evolving mechanism that resists corruption and allows ideas and actions to be rewarded without bias. This incorruptible town square is currently being constructed. LaB is a decentralized social network that aims to solve many, if not all, of the aforementioned issues. Utilizing a system of rewards, LaB motivates users to act in helpful and honest ways, delivering a potent system of policy formation and implementation. A decentralized ledger records the distribution of tradable rewards for work performed. Rewards are earned in numerous ways that benefit the network and, consequently, all the users of the network. After reaching a critical mass of adoption, the LaB network will create an equitable and just environment for people to interact freely. Once in place, governments can be reduced to a simple mechanical system as intended by design. The network will act as a defense against the unprincipled urges of those with power. Power is distributed equally across the network, removing the advantage of being born into unearned wealth. It is clear that the buildup of generational wealth, coupled with the effect of money's influence in politics, creates a highway to fascism. LaB is the poison pill to that process.